Okay, in this video what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to create a backlock. Now, before we create the backlock, I'm going to switch back to my absolute plane, or my mold split plane, and I'm going to go down here to Management and go to my BOM editor. If I click on my gib, it's part of the action, but it doesn't have a designation as far as which side it belongs to. The reason it doesn't is the software cannot determine automatically that this belongs to the B side or the A side, so I'm just going to simply say put it on the B side. I'm going to say OK, grab that one, put it on the B side, say OK, grab my slide carrier, we'll call this slide carrier just for fun, make that B side, OK? And then let's go grab our insert as well. That says A side, should really be B side. This is just so in mold visualization everything shows up correctly. Now what I want to do is I'm going to deactivate this component. Now if you didn't know, using the element visibility function, in other words blanking, allows you to turn off components easily inside of Top Solid Mold. You can always turn it back on by going back into Mold Viz and turning the component back on this way. But for here that's what we want. Now what I'm going to do is activate this plane, as well as I'm going to make a new plane off of that. So I'm going to say Tools Coordinate System, and I want to make a plane based off my YZ of the current plane. I'm going to click on the arrow to rotate it 90 degrees, set it as current, and I'm going to start a new sketch on there. In these samples you're seeing me use the Top Solid Sketcher, simply because it is the most efficient way to create some of these sketch relationships that we're looking for. So here I'm going to start a new contour. I'm going to come up, come over, whoops, come over. I'm going to come up some angle, I'm going to come over some distance, up some distance, over, and done. Okay? And now I'm going to add a few dimensions and a few relationships. Okay? So I'm going to start by adding my constraints. I want that coincident with that edge. I want this with my y-axis. I want this on this edge. I'm going to grab my move parents function, bring this in a little bit, then I'm going to add the rest of my dimensions. I know that I want to maintain a 1/16 of an inch clearance back there, as well as maybe an 1/8 inch clearance down here. Okay? Now I also know that I want this to be 20 degrees. And I know the thickness back here I want to be 1 1/4 inches. Now I'm fully defined. I'm going to hit Exit Sketch. I'm going to go Shape, Extrude, and make a total custom component. Okay? I want to switch from normal to centered, and I want to stop my extrusion on each of the side faces here. So I'm going to change my mode from height and simply select my trimming face or point. So I want to trim to that face there and this face here. Now I'm going to go start another new sketch because this is too thin. I want to add some heels on both sides. So I'm going to start a new sketch. This will be rectangular. Add some relationships of coincidence again. That to that, that to that, here to there, and here to here. Okay? I'm going to exit out of that, and I'm going to use that sketch to create a boss. So I'm going to go Shape, Boss on this face with this curve. I want to add another 3/4 of an inch. I don't want any radiuses, fillets, blends, or angles. That's good. I'm going to propagate that to the other side via simple mirror. About that plane. So now we're getting somewhere. Last, I'm going to go to my trim operation, trim by plane. I want to trim my slide by the planar face of my backlock, getting rid of that side. Say OK. I'm going to set Hide Tools to No so it doesn't blank out my component, and click OK. And now you can see I've passed that angle along. And of course now you could add your fillets and whatnot in there. Now the last thing we need to do is add this to mold visualization. So I'm going to go back to Management, back to my BOM property editor, select this, and I'm going to call this Backlock. Maybe for my designation, which of course means description, this is my custom backlock. Okay? Or again, you can just call it backlock, whatever. You can get your stock dimensions if you want. Select the button, select your coordinate system. Now you know how big of a piece of steel you need to order. This is part of the action components. This will be on the A side. And you know what? Maybe I'll define my material as A2 as well. Okay? So now that that's been defined, I can put an angle pin in, and we'll do that in the last video.